Good day mga ka-sensible, incredible. Kamusta ulit tayo? Kamusta ulit po kayo dyan after ng mga ilang segundo o ilang minuto? So mga ka-sensible, incredible, balik tayo sa science and technology ha. Kasi parang na overdose na tayo sa bardagulan eh. Well, as pahabol din sa by the way nga pala, iko-correct ko nga lang pala yung typo error ko dun sa ano PBB imbis na PBMM yata na type ko. Yung sa import of sugar, rejects the import of sugar. It should be President Bongbong Marcos. Na type ko yata PBMM na double yung M hindi imbis na B. Siya na kayo. And once isa pa po yung asukal, 'di ba? Yung nabanggit natin yung asukal, which is na vlog ko kahapon yung asukal kasi nire-reject nga ni President BBM yung pag-i-import natin ng asukal. So napag-usapan natin yung asukal, magda-diet na lang sana tayo. Kasi ang asukal kinakain ng cancer cells, paboritong kainin. Nasabi ko yun, alam ko sa yung sa nano machines, naalala nyo mga kasensible incredible. Nano machines penetrate to kill cancer cells. No, hindi yata sa ampalaya. Sa ampalaya yung diabetes. Di ba mga ka-sensible incredible? So, science and technology, I think lahat kayo mahilig sa kotse mga ka-sensible incredible. Tama ba ako? Ano ba ang paborito nyong kotse mga ka-sensible incredible? From racing edition or pang touring? Yes, magbanggit po kayo ng company. Ako kasi Toyota ang paborito ko. So, yung mga tipong yun nga, yung nasabi ko na 'to eh, 'di ba? Yung sa Rimac, nung binablog ko yung Rimac Nevera, fastest electric sports car, 'di ba? So, yung GR86 ng Toyota, yun yung mainit sa paningin ko. Yung mga GR nila, yung mga bagong labas nila ng ngayon, yung GR Yaris Active and GR Corolla, yan, mga malulupit nilang at malupit din ang presyo. Kaya ba mga sensible incredible? Ang iba-vlog ko sa inyo ay tungkol sa Toyota ngayong araw na to. Pero hindi ako promoter ng Toyota. Nire-recommend at sinasuggest ko lang kayo na pagbibili kayo ng kotse, no? Toyota ang bilhin nyo kasi matibay talaga. And sa records ng sales nila for the whole world, nasa top 5 sila. I think nasa top 3 pa nga eh. Top 3 most selling cars, no? In the whole world. Toyota kasama. No, mga ka-sensible incredible. So ngayon, pag-uusapan natin, meron silang inilabas na yung powerful engine nila ngayon eh. Toyota's most powerful engine. Parang nung nilabas nila to, parang kinabahan, parang may kurot sa dibdib ni Elon Musk. Sabi niya parang ang lakas ng makina ng Toyota. Ito mga ka-sensible incredible. Ang tawag doon sa Toyota, yung engine nila, Toyota Dynamic Force, no? So matagal na tong nandito. Matagal na nakatambak sa aking nakasave. Toyota's Dynamic Force Engine explained. Okay. Here is an informative video that takes you through a brief history of Toyota engine development from its earliest models, with Chevy parts to the all Toyota new Dynamic Force engine that reportedly is the most thermal efficient commercial car engine today. A better engine in the making. While past conversations about Toyota tend to be focused on reliability, ease of repair, and less expensive parts that are easily available, it's time to take a closer look at how Toyota's engines have evolved and learn a little about what else makes Toyota a leading automaker. As it turns out, it all goes to the same idea of building a better mousetrap. But in this case, with automotive engines, Toyota put its focus on making a better engine by improving thermal efficiency. Doon sila nag-focus sa thermal efficiency. Malaking kinalaman ng thermal efficiency sa pagpapalakas ng engine. Mga kasensible. Incredible. Bali, ano kasi yun eh. Yun yung nagpo-produce ng power. So, thermal efficiency, which results in increased torque and increased horsepower. And that focus has earned Toyota some significant notoriety with their dynamic force engine strategy. Their dynamic force engine strategy is based on improved thermal efficiency. In-improve nila yung thermal efficiency yung bagong pinroduce nilang engine. Thermal efficiency is the amount of energy produced when a combustion engine burns fuel in relation to the amount of that energy that is converted into mechanical. So, sa thermal energy, the way, no, yung combustion engines, pag nag-burn siya ng fuel, kung how much energy, pag na-burn mo kasi yung fuel, kung how much energy yung nako-consume, napuput in the mechanical energy, then yun yung tinatawag na thermal energy. The bane of the internal combustion engine, or the ICE, has always been that form a thermodynamic view. The ICE is very inefficient. For example, Toyota today has reportedly achieved motors with a 41% thermal efficiency. Pinakamataas sila, mga kasensible incredible. O sa 41% thermal efficiency, which is a significant achievement when most gasoline engines have efficiencies of roughly 25 to 33%. O yung regular na pinoproduce ng ibang engine, 25 to 33 lang. Yung Toyota engine, yung bago nila ngayon, 41% thermal efficiency. However, that loss of energy as a heat from a practical point of view means that at best only 40% of what you are paying for fuel is actually making your car go. But what's where we are today? So, yung 41% thermal efficiency, malakas na engine, konting gas, no, mga kasensible incredible. Ang galing. Malakas na engine with the less fuel. So yung fuel nako-consume with the highest of its efficiency. How Toyota does it, o kung paano nila ginagawa. To achieve improved thermal efficiency, Toyota has modified their engine designs by focusing on how to speed up the combustion process. They achieve this with their modern dynamic force engine by, paano? Optimizing the stroke to bore ratio. Optimizing the stroke to bore ratio by lengthening the stroke and narrowing the cylinders. Sa mga mekaniko, no, nakakaintindi na ito. Narrowing the cylinders, parang pinaiksibaw, pinakitid, ganun. Sa ganitong paraan, ma-optimize nila yung stroke do sa bore ratio. Then, optimizing the airflow tumble into the cylinders by widening the angle between intake and exhaust valves to improve fuel and oxygen mixing for better combustion. O, para maka-achieve ng combustion na maganda, pinaluwag nila yung angle, yung sa intake, mga kasensible incredible, pagka yung intake ng gas at saka air, ganyan po kasi yan. So yung yung sa mga kadalasan sa engine, sa V siya, diba, intake tapos input, out. Imbis na nakaganyan siya na ano, pinaluwag nilang ganyan. So number 3, optimize thermal management using variable controlling cooling systems that support optimized combustion with minimal energy loss as heat. Na-minimize nila yung energy by optimizing thermal management using variable controlling systems. Controlling cooling systems, no? So yung cooling system, pina-improve din. So ito, sabi niya dito, the engineering explained in more detail. For a little more detail on how Toyota's dynamic force engines perform their combustion magic. Here's an engineering explained YouTube channel video that offers some very good video graphics on how that aforementioned optimizations physically appear if you were able to view the engine cylinder in cross-section during the combustion process. Meron na akong papanood sa inyo mga sensible and credible kung paano nag-work yung dynamic force engine ng Toyota. So ito yun.
The heart of the car is the engine, because without it the car is not going anywhere. However, car makers are not just content with putting an engine in the car, they want to put the best to outdo their competition. This is why Toyota is always working on its car engines. The latest engine from the Japanese company blows everything out of the water. What is the new engine released by Toyota and how powerful is it? Stay tuned as we bring you Toyota's insane new motor that changes everything. Toyota is among the top car makers globally. The company sold almost 10.5 million cars last year, even when the whole industry was not doing so well thanks to the COVID-19 pandemic and chip scarcity. So how come Toyota has the trust of millions of people worldwide? Despite the competition getting hotter, Toyota still makes quality cars, which makes them have models in the rankings for top automobiles in almost every category. The company also makes a wide selection of cars, so everybody will find something they want with a Toyota or associated badge. In fact, few automakers can match Toyota in variety. Thanks to their high quality, Toyota cars have a high resale value. You can even buy a used Toyota and expect to get a decent price when selling at some point later. One more thing in favor of Toyota is the availability of spare parts. You certainly don't want to have to purchase a car and then wait for months to have a replaceable part from the manufacturing country in case you need a repair. The brand is widely popular all over the world, so whether you drive a Toyota in a remote area of South Africa or a town in Bangladesh, you will find spare parts available from your dealer. Besides, mechanics that can handle Toyota cars are everywhere.
Wait lang mga ka-sensible and credible ah.
There is, however, another reason why
Nalinaw ko lang.
buyers rush to Toyota cars: the engine. Due to a focus on engine research and development, Toyota has made the best-in-class engines that the market cannot quickly forget. The company made its first engine, the Type A engine, in 1934. That was 2 years before making its first passenger car, the Toyota AA, in 1936. In May 1934, Toyota began creating prototypes of the cast parts used in cylinder blocks and pistons for the Model A engine, which was based on sketches of the 1933 model Chevrolet sedan engine. Toyota completed the first prototype engine on September 25, 1934. The parts manufactured in-house were limited to cast parts, including a cylinder head, cylinder block, and pistons, while imported Chevrolet parts were used for crankshafts, camshafts, valves, plugs, and electrical components. However, when Toyota fitted the prototype in a Chevrolet truck, the engine could only produce 48 to 49 horsepower during a driving test, instead of the output of 60 horsepower that the Chevrolet engine produced. From those humble beginnings, Toyota has become a master engine designer. For example, it made the 1JZ GTE inline-6 engine, which produces 320 horsepower and 315 pound-foot of torque. The MK4 Supra actually owes its success to the 6-cylinder 2JZ GTE underneath its hood. For more than 2 decades, the 2JZ's nearly indestructible nature has been proven on applications, pushing out as much as 2,000 horsepower. The brute of a cast iron block makes all of this possible and means as much as 750 horsepower can be yours with very few mods. Toyota also made the 4A GE Inline 4, rated for 112 horsepower and 97 pound-foot of torque. One of the first fuel-injected 4-cylinder power plants to feature a twin-cam 16-valve layout, this mill was loosely based off Cosworth's legendary BDA series of engines. Nearly 3 decades later, the aftermarket continues to support this classic 4-banger as much as ever. However, with the release of the Dynamic Force engine, Toyota has taken its engine game to another level. This new engine is the new king of thermal efficiency. To fully appreciate this new engine, It is important to understand gasoline thermal efficiency. The term is how much of the potential energy in gasoline gets converted into power that can be used to move your vehicle. Internal combustion engines do this by injecting that gasoline in a fine spray in a mixture with the air in the cylinders. The piston is squeezing it into as small a space as possible and lighting it with a spark. When it ignites, it explodes and expands, pushing the piston back out with incredible force. The pistons turn the crankshaft, which is connected to the transmission, which is connected to the drive shaft, which is connected to the wheels, with various parts and gears in between, directing and controlling the power to make sure the wheels turn, but not so fast that they simply spin faster than the tires can handle. However, there is a problem with the setup just described. When the combustion takes place, some of the power is lost to friction and excess heat. This renders the average gasoline combustion engine running at about 35% thermal efficiency. Engineers have been working tirelessly for more than 100 years to reduce the energy wasted and convert as much of that energy in gasoline to moving the car or powering your AC. What the engineers at Toyota did was look at every stage of the engine cycle and try to find ways to make it not only more efficient in terms of saving gas, they then looked for how to convert that saved gasoline into more power, increasing the thermal efficiency. Toyota looked for inspiration from a place where efficiency is paramount: Formula One. The company borrowed several technologies from the racing cars to achieve high-speed combustion. 3 changes in particular helped Toyota to accomplish high-speed combustion and ensure the air-fuel mixture burns more completely, which produces more power with every combustion. One of the changes is the angle of the intake valve. The angle of the intake valve and shape of the intake port guide the air-fuel mixture in a specific pattern to spread it more evenly within the cylinder, so it combusts more quickly and more evenly, producing more power and less waste. Secondly, the laser-clad valve seats allow for optimized valve angle and airflow direction to create tumble flow, a more controlled swirl pattern in the combustion changer that distributes the air-fuel mixture more evenly ahead of the compression phase. Third, a taller, narrower cylinder means the igniting mixture takes less time spreading across the cylinder, again speeding up that combustion moment and more of its force pushing the piston down, which provides more torque and greater efficiency. But Toyota engineers didn't just stop there, as they made use of additional tried and tested strategies to maximize the thermal efficiency of the new dynamic force engines. Toyota's D4S fuel injection incorporates both direct and port injection, the 2 systems combining to provide greater efficiency and smoother operation during normal driving, but relying solely on direct injection when maximum power is needed. Meanwhile, the pistons themselves have a special finish to reduce friction. An electronic thermostat works in concert with an electric water pump to regulate temperature for peak efficiency. All these strategies culminate in a world-best 41% thermal efficiency in hybrid applications and 40% in gas-only vehicles, with more torque and power at any engine speed and better fuel efficiency and emissions. The new dynamic force engine helps Toyota to fight for every percent in the efficiency race. The 2-liter 4 is compatible with a new 6-speed manual transmission Toyota has developed for global needs. The transmission is more compact and lighter than Toyota's current unit and incorporates rev matching capability. Toyota has equipped the 2022 Toyota Camry with a dynamic force engine. The engine is tuned to make 209 PS and 253 Newton meters. Let's hear what you think of Toyota's new dynamic force engine in the comment section below.
So, yun mga ka-sensible, incredible, no? Ganda ba? Naintindihan nyo naman. So, mga ka-sensible, incredible, pagka bibili kayo ng mga sasakyan, I suggest na Toyota na lang, no? Syempre, yung presyo, mahal nga lang siya. Best selling cars kasi. With that, nagtatapos muna tayo mga sensible incredible. Bukas sisimula ulit tayo mag-vlog, pero for science and technology muna po muna, tsaka baka may food nutrition ako isama. So God bless mga sensible incredible. Ingat po kayo. Si Jomari Pascual po to. To God be the glory.